Greetings to our lecturer Dr. Sridevi and my fellow friends. My name is Leena Manokaran and my metric number is 830103. Today I would like to present about my literature map which I have done for 10 articles. The first article is the enterprise risk management practices and survival of SMEs in Nigeria. The researchers have done it on 2020, and the research problem is the survival rate of SMEs are found to be very low despite all the effort made by the governments to sustain their existence. So the research question that they have questioned is, the first one is, does ERM practices influence the survival of SMEs? The second is, does each component of ERM contributes to the survival of SMEs? And the third one is, what is the potential of ERM implementation in reducing the failure of rate of SMEs in Lagos? So the objective is to determine the influence of ERM practices on the survival of SMEs in Nigeria and examine the contribution of each component of ERM to survival of Lagos SMEs. The third one is the potential of ERM implementation in reducing the failure rate of SMEs in Lagos. So the dependent variable is the survival of SMEs, and the independent variable is the ERM practices, which is created by COSO. So the technique or model that they have done is multi-stage sampling technique and forward stepwise multiple regression analysis. So from that analysis, they get a result that ERM implementation will positively and significantly influence the survival of SMEs. So the recommendation that the researchers have given is, there is a need for SMEs and entrepreneurs to recognize and consider ERM as an important business function to help them achieve the effective risk management and will equally enhance their survival. The second is, the government through SMEDAN and the other relevant agencies and stakeholders should embark on different kind of sensitization campaigns and to aim of educating SMEs on the benefits of ERM and mode of practicing it. The third is, as it is a financial sector, a mandatory ERM guideline is recommended for SME sector. This will compel SMEs across all sectors to take their risk management function seriously. So this is the first article. Yes, for the second one is the efficiency of ERM system. They want to check on the how efficient is the ERM system, and the problem they face is, from traditional risk management, it is difficult and complicated task to multitude the risk source. So the question they raised is, the ERM contribute to stabilization of financial result, and the important one is, which industry, fuel or energy industry, giving a greater effectiveness on ERM implementation. So for the objective, they used to assess the effectiveness of ERM in enterprise on the basis of energy and fuel industry in Poland. Assessment of ERM implementation effectiveness carried out the context of exposure of financial result and enterprise value to risk. So the dependent variable that they used is efficiency of enterprise risk management system, and for the independent variable they used, they divided two, where for financial result they used profit or loss, percentage changes in the net financial result, profitability of total asset, and profitability of own capital. For the enterprises context, they use book value, economic value added, and market value. The technique method they use is quantitative and qualitative method, and for the result they find out, these are the findings, where the fuel energy industry was categorized considerably larger percentage of loss period than energy. And for second level, they used changes in financial result. They noticed that huge difference between clear up, down, or downward trend. Fuel industry chain dynamic indices ranged of 0.04 to 4.86, while in energy 0.18 to 5.5. It proves that high changeability level of financial result, thus a high risk of conducted activity. After the implementation of ERM, no significant changes were noticed. The third level, they use profitability of total equity, were analyzed before and after ERM as implemented. So in that context, energy company achieved best result, analyzed they did not incur any losses and was able to maintain quite high ROA in the period of poorer economic situation in energy sector. Yet studied group, no clear dependencies between the date of ERM implementation and changes in ROA can be observed. For the recommendation, they recommend that in risk assessment, attention must be paid to strategic source of risk associated with the developing globalization, raw materials markets, and growing amplitude of economy fluctuation presents in this market. So as there are 5 recommendations done by the researchers. So as for the third article and to sixth, most of it related to the enterprise risk management on impact, among practices, firm performance, and effectiveness. So most of the articles that I took is from Malaysia and Poland and UK and so on. So the dependent variable and independent variable that I found out from these 10 articles is mainly from the ERM practices. The independent variable is mainly from the ERM practices from COSO. So where we can see that a few articles use ERM practices. The first one is internal environment, objective setting, event identification, risk assessment, risk response, recruitment activities, information communication, and monitoring. So few of the researchers use this element, this ERM practices framework by COSO to determine the firm performance. So for dependent variable, as we can see here, they have used cash volatility and company performance. So most of them used ROA, return on asset, to know the company performance and to know the SME's performance. And as you can see, most of it are the firm performance. And in that firm performance, they used ROA and ROE or debit ratios and so on to determine their dependent variable. And for the techniques or models that they use, most of them used regression model and certain used robust model. So from this we can see that they use regression model analysis and the robust model. So yes, this is what I have found out from the literature map, and that's all from me. Thank you. So now I would like to present about my research proposal. The topic that I choose is the effect of enterprise risk management ERM practices on small medium enterprises SME firm performance after COVID-19 pandemic in Malaysia. So yes, for chapter 1 is introduction, we can move on to the research background, where mitigating the risk is an important task in today's challenging world by the business people. And in order to produce income and remain competitive in the market, they should watch out on the dangers and the opportunities that they can face. So it is important for small medium enterprises to manage their risk well, but there are traditional risk management isolate risk in separately. So enterprise risk management suggests managing risk holistically to build and safeguard business value. So today's business executives also strongly value ERM as a strategic method for managing the risk that businesses face in an aggregate manner that is different from traditional risk management, which covers mainly the pure risk and speculative risk. So for the problem statement, previous researchers have addressed several aspects of the effect of enterprise risk management practices on SME's performance by N. Po and Idris and Abdullah. However, there are certain unexplored dimensions such as risk strategy and appetite, risk organization and governance, and risk culture and incentive appear to be important and worthy of the investigation in the context of the effect of enterprise risk management practices on the SME's performance after COVID-19 pandemic in Malaysia, because I found out that there's no one has done the effect of this after COVID-19. And an investigation of these issues is important because it will improve the performance of the company and they could sustain in their business. Furthermore, previous empirical research has focused primarily on 8 elements of ERM which developed by COSO, Committee of Sponsoring Organization of Tradeway Commission, to find out on the effect and the practices of ERM. So I found out that there's very little research has done on risk strategy and appetite, risk organization and governance, and risk culture and incentive to acknowledge the impact towards firm performance, especially after COVID-19 pandemic. So these are the elements too important for an organization to sustain well in a risky and competitive world. This is because risk occurs unknowingly, and COVID-19 pandemic has taught a lesson for business people to be prepared for new risk in the upcoming years. So yes, for the research question, we propose to provide answer for these 3 questions, which is what are the types of ERM practices influencing SMEs firm performance. Second is how ERM practices affect the SME's firm performance. And the third is what is the effect of ERM practices on small medium enterprises firm performance after COVID-19 pandemic. So yes, for the research objective, the main is to investigate the effect of enterprise risk management practices on small and medium enterprises firm performance after COVID-19 pandemic. Yet we have another 3 research objectives that have been set. First is to describe the types of enterprises risk management practices influencing the SME's firm performance. Second, to analyze the effect of ERM practices on small and medium enterprises firm performance. Third, to measure the effect of ERM practices on small and medium enterprises firm performance after COVID-19 pandemic in Malaysia. So the significance of the study is as follows. The importance of doing this study is to bring awareness for the small and medium enterprises that risk can occur at any time, and practices of ERM should be done in the right manner to make sure the firm performance is not interrupted. Second, we can also identify the ERM practices effectiveness on small medium enterprises performance. The third, this research will help to make better judgments SMEs companies about the ERM effectiveness and best practices in their organization. So the scope of the study, we will cover the small medium enterprises in Malaysia, and all the data will be produced from Bursa Malaysia annual report. So yes, we are done with chapter 1, and now chapter 2, literature review. So for literature review, I would like to present on the gap analysis that I found out. According to the previous analysis, most of the researchers used COSO ERM framework to analyze the effect towards the firm performance, but no one has done research on elements of an effective ERM framework that has been introduced by John Thackeray, a chief risk and compliance policy writer in Risk Inc. So the elements of ERM framework that has been created by him is risk strategy and appetite, risk organization and governance, and risk culture and incentive. So moreover, and the effectiveness of ERM practices during COVID-19 period of small medium business have not been analyzed or discussed so far. So this is the gap analysis that I have found out. And yes, for the chapter 3 is research methodology, where 3.1 is theoretical framework. The 3 independent variables that I have find out is the risk strategy and appetite, risk organization and governance, risk culture and incentive. So the dependent variable is small medium enterprises firm performance. So the conceptual framework that I have done is good risk strategy and appetite plus good risk organization and governance plus good risk culture and incentive will bring an excellent small and medium enterprises firm performance. Yes, for the model specification, I have done as follow, where beta 1 is risk strategy and appetite plus beta 2 risk organization and governance plus beta 3 risk culture and incentive is equals to SMEFP, small and medium enterprise firm performance. And that's all from me. Thank you.